Hi, my name is Heidi, and today I'm going to be talking about keystone species. A keystone species is an organism that affects many parts of an ecosystem. They are important because they perform roles within their ecosystem that other species do not, and they cannot be replaced. Thus, if they were removed from their ecosystem, it may collapse or change. They can be predators, herbivores, plants, vertebrates, or invertebrates. Keystone predators are important because they control prey populations. This prevents the prey animals from consuming all of the food or causing land erosion. Due to this, keystone predators help to keep the ecosystem in balance and prevent other species from dying out. Some examples of keystone predators include the gray wolf, purple sea stars, and bald eagles. Purple sea stars live along the shores of the Pacific Ocean and can be found from California to Alaska. They feed on mussels and other shellfish. They are a keystone species because they keep mussel populations under control, which leaves space for other organisms. On Vancouver Island, the sea star populations have been disappearing in recent years due to something called sea star wasting disease. Scientists are not exactly sure what's causing this. In the 1920s, wolves were removed from the Yellowstone ecosystem in order to save the elk. Consequently, elk populations increased to the point where they consumed most of the food, and other species began to struggle. The ecosystem was fixed in the 1990s after gray wolves were reintroduced. Herbivores can be keystone species because they can alter the landscape, control vegetation, and provide food for predators. Examples of keystone herbivores include elephants, European rabbits, prairie dogs, and Tibetan pikas. Elephants can be found in 37 African countries and occupy multiple habitats including wetlands, forests, grasslands, savannas, and deserts. They are keystone herbivores because without them, savannas would most likely become forests, as elephants alter the landscape by knocking down taller trees in order to consume the leaves. Although in some places the European rabbit is considered a pest, they are a keystone species because they are seed dispersers and also provide a source of food for many predators. Prairie dogs are found in the prairie throughout North America. There are 5 species, including white-tailed prairie dogs, black-tailed prairie dogs, Gunnison's prairie dog, Utah prairie dog, and Mexican prairie dog. They are often considered pests and are consequently threatened. They are a keystone species because they help to aerate the soil by burrowing and also serve as a prey for many predators, including the endangered black-footed ferret. Tibetan Plateau pikas are mostly found in the Tibetan Plateau of China. However, they can be found in Pakistan, India, and Nepal. They occupy elevations between 3,100 and 5,000. They are a keystone species because they are a source of food for predators such as brown bears, Pallas cat, Tibetan fox, polecats, upland buzzards, and falcons. Plants and pollinators can also be keystone species. Plants provide food and habitat for many insects and animals. Pollinators are responsible for the reproductive success of plants. Plants and pollinators can also be considered keystone mutualists, as they depend on each other for survival. A method for identifying keystone species is to look at the food webs and how they are affected by a change in a population. If one species disappears or changes in abundance, what happens to the other species within the web? Keystone species can be sensitive to climate change. Climate change may have an effect on the survival rate and reproductive timing of an organism. This can result in food shortages and other problems for other species that may rely on it. An example of a keystone species that is affected by climate change is the capelin in Newfoundland. Studies have shown that capelin are more abundant when the climate is cooler than when it is warmer. It is thought that this may be due to changes in the abundance of their food sources. Capelin are an important keystone species for predators such as the humpback whale. Other definitions related to keystone species. Foundation species are species that are relied on by many other species, such as corals. Umbrella species are similar to keystone species, but different. They have big habitat requirements and affect many other species, such as Siberian tigers. Ecosystem engineers are organisms that affect the structure of a habitat, such as corals and trees. Indicator species are organisms that are easily affected by changes to their environment.